Hey guys, welcome back to my cooking channel. I'm excited about today, and if you haven't already noticed, it looks like I've been crying because I have. I just got word of someone who stumbled across my channel and they are going through a lot of situations, changes within their health due to being in chemotherapy. And so I just wanted to extend this opportunity. If you are coming across the channel and you're going through something that's life-threatening and you haven't found hope and you feel like you are breaking, just know that God is with you. He sees you, and I am here just to help in that endeavor. So I can't wait to show you today what I'm making. It's going to be something that helps a lot with, it's going to have a ton of garlic. It is hearty, it is a comfort food, and it just tastes great. So it's not necessarily like what is typically a healthy food, just because it is kind of heavy on the fat side, but there are different ways that you could modify this meal so that it could be nutritional. But today I will be incorporating some garlic, which is very helpful for the bones. It's very helpful for performance when you're in sports. It's also very great to thin out the blood, and also if you have any kinds of infection, it's great for, it's antibiotic. It's a natural antibiotic. And so I'm going to be incorporating a ton of garlic today. So it's going to be amazing. This tastes delicious. It's a comfort food. And so it's just kind of like what I felt like doing tonight for our family meal. So I hope you like it. These are going to be the ingredients that you are going to be using for tonight's meal. We have rotini whole grain pasta. This is great with fiber, and it also helps reduce the carbs that you intake. Black pepper, which is great for thinning out the blood. If you've checked out my other videos, this will give you an understanding as to why I'm incorporating black pepper. It's also great for lowering blood pressure, and it has tons of many other benefits. Next, I'm going to use cayenne pepper. I love to season most of my dishes with cayenne pepper. It's incredible, but you want to make sure you use a little bit because it is very spicy. Next is basil pesto. I'll be using that to season my pasta later on. Olive oil and Parmesan cheese and heavy whipping cream for the Alfredo sauce. I know that heavy whipping cream isn't very healthy, but I think if you could use it sparingly, it's not such a bad thing. So we're also going to be incorporating garlic, fresh garlic. It's important to try to get fresh ingredients. Garlic has a ton of benefits, especially as it relates to my husband's condition and the dietary supplements that he needs to intake for thinning out his blood. Again, there's tons of benefits, and it's great to use it to flavor your food. So tonight you'll be seeing me incorporate garlic specifically as the main ingredient in this pasta dish. All right, next we're going to be using baby bella mushrooms. This is for our protein. These are packed with so many nutrients, and instead you can choose to use any protein you'd like here, salmon or chicken tenders, whatever you decide that you want. You can also incorporate baby spinach as a veggie in this meal. We're going to actually stick away from it only because for my husband's dietary needs, he only takes vitamin K sparingly because that actually thickens your blood. So for those of you watching this channel that need to thicken your blood or you're anemic, this is a great source of vitamin K that will help thicken your blood that you can incorporate in this meal. All you have to do is finely dice it up, and then you could add it in your pasta dish. All right, first we're going to start with chopping up the garlic. I at first used to struggle with cutting up garlic until I found out all I had to do was drive a sharp blade in there, and it automatically helped me peel off the layers of the skin of the garlic. And next I am going to be cutting maybe about 8 or 10 heads of the garlic. And I'm going to incorporate some more a little later on. in this dish, but for right now, this is going to be for the sauce, the Alfredo sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and peel that off really quickly, and then I'm going to start dicing this fresh garlic. Now you can choose to use the jarred garlic, but I have chosen to use fresh garlic because it just tastes better. It just makes the whole dish pop. So I'm going to go ahead and mince this garlic, and you can choose to mince it however you like. This is how I typically mince garlic. You have to also be very careful with the blade because this is a very sharp blade. So I'm going to go ahead and just dice it up, and then I'm going to mince it. Make sure that those pieces are pretty small, only because this is going to be going in our sauce, and I don't know about you, but I really prefer that my garlic is kind of fine so that whenever I'm eating my meal, I don't eat like a big chunk of garlic. Unless you really do like garlic and you don't mind it, you don't have to dice it up finely, but I'm going to dice it about there. And be careful whenever you take it off the blade. You can choose to use another kind of method to take the garlic off your blade. I am extremely careful. I don't run my finger across the blade. I run it across the knife part. So I'm going to put that to the side, and now I am going to cut up my baby bella mushrooms. They're already rinsed and washed and dry. So I'm going to take about maybe 5 or 6 mushrooms. I just have one there just in case. I'm going to go ahead and start chopping these baby bella mushrooms up. Again, I like the way they taste. I know that when I saute them, they're going to shrivel, so they don't have to be extremely fine at this point. Just enough for me to have them ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and do that too. All right, you guys, so now that I have that diced and cut, I'm going to separate the garlic and the mushrooms, and I'm going to pour a tablespoon of olive oil into my pan. I'm going to wait for it to get warm, and then I'm going to carefully put my garlic in there to saute. And I'm going to let it saute for about 3 minutes, and I'm going to just stir it around in the pot and allow that to saute nicely. I don't want to burn this. Remember that olive oil can heat up pretty quickly, so I'm just going to let that sit in there for about 3 minutes, and then I'm going to go ahead and incorporate the next ingredient. All right, now it's been about 3 minutes, and that's all bubbling up, so it's already ready for me to incorporate the heavy whipping cream. So I'm going to pour 1 cup of heavy whipping cream into the olive oil and the garlic. Now this is what makes the sauce, so don't be afraid to add more as you continue to see the consistency and the texture start to form. This is going to be the most important part. Now I'm going to add some black pepper, and I'm just going to add some color to the sauce. Remember, the thing that I tend to do is to look at what the sauce looks like. If it looks kind of like a gravy-like texture, and I'm just going to give it some color. So you want to do about maybe like a tablespoon. I like it to be peppery, remember, because in the back of my mind, there are specific seasonings that I'm using. Now I'm going to go ahead and put like a teaspoon or even 1/4 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper in this mixture, because remember, cayenne pepper makes it pop. It's kind of spicy, but I like that spiciness to it. I don't want it to be too overwhelming, just enough to give it some color and to add some seasoning to it. So I'm going to stir that all up, let that come to a simmer, maybe about 2 or 3 minutes. And then I'm going to incorporate my fresh Parmesan cheese into the mixture. But first, I want to allow those flavors to come together. All right, guys, now I'm going to incorporate my fresh Parmesan cheese to the mixture. I see that The flavors are already coming together, and I'm gonna put about 1.5 cups of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. Remember, you could use the Kraft Parmesan cheese. I just have chosen to use fresh Parmesan cheese because I like that extra taste of flavor in my sauce. And remember, the sauce makes this dish, so make sure you try not to skimp out on some really good ingredients to make this flavor really come to life. So I'm going to stir that mixture for about maybe 5-10 minutes. I want the consistency to become like a gravy-like consistency. I don't want it to be too runny. See how I'm checking it with a spoon? I'm making sure that the consistency is thick enough. And if it still needs some thickening, you can pour in a little bit more heavy whipping cream. Also feel free to add some more seasoning to give it some more color and taste. As you can see, I'm adding more cheese to thicken it up. I'm adding more pepper. Just do it to taste to how you would probably like the flavor to be in your dish. And then I'm going to continue to stir to thicken it up. If I see that it's becoming too thick too fast, I can always add some more heavy whipping cream to give it that nice consistency. So I'm going to pour in a little bit of more heavy whipping cream just to make it a little bit more gravy-like. And I'm going to give that a stir. Remember that my temperature on my pot is going to be like a low medium heat, so it doesn't scorch my sauce, because this is what makes the dish. So I want to make sure I'm giving this all my attention and time. All right, you guys, so I am stirring it consistently, making sure that the consistency of the sauce looks perfect. It's not too thick, not too runny. There's color in it, and it's just going to be super, super, super yummy when we add it into our pasta dish. So next, what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put that on the side and just let it sit for a while. And I'm going to focus my attention now on the water for the pasta and the noodles. Right now you can see that this water is plain. And I'm going to just add some seasoning to it. I'm going to put some basil pesto in the water. And then maybe about a tablespoon of this, however much you would like. And then you're going to wait for it to come to a bubbling point like this. Once your noodles have boiled for about 12 minutes, you're going to make sure that they're ready to go. And you are going to pour all the contents onto your pasta, the Alfredo sauce that we created. I'm just going to make sure that I spoon all that out. I am using a very, very highly heat resistant spoon here. And I'm going to make sure I incorporate that sauce all over my noodles while I keep the pot at maybe a medium heat, making sure I don't scorch the sauce that I've just so diligently made. Make sure that I incorporate that in there. And next, I am going to be pouring the baby bella mushrooms that I have sauteed beforehand. I just basically sauteed these in another skillet with just some garlic powder. You can also put Italian seasoning if you like, maybe some extra pepper. And I just sauteed them for about maybe 3 to 5 minutes in their own skillet. So now this would be like your own protein that you decided to make. It could be salmon or chicken breast or chicken tenders that you would saute and you would cook separately from your pasta and your Alfredo sauce. So now I'm just going to go ahead and incorporate all those mushrooms in there, give it some really good flavor. And there you have it, you guys. Your pasta dish. This is whole wheat grain pasta, great in fiber. It's easy on you and your tummy, and it's delicious comfort food at its finest. Here goes all the way up, 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 up. Everything from here goes all the way up, 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 up. Everything from here goes all the way up, up, up. From here goes all the way up, 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 up. Everything from here goes all the way up.